Whoa, cousin, what an awesome day. I had so much fun with you. I just want to sit back and relax for a bit, hey? Hey, that's an awesome idea. We should definitely play a co-op game. But which game do you want to play? Well, if you're also not sure, how about we try one of these games?
The first game on the list is Terraria.
Yeah!
Terraria is one of my favorite games, and I love it even more since I found out that you can have a second player join you in on your demise on the Nintendo Switch. If you don't know what Terraria is, think about what Minecraft would be like if it was 2D. Then get f***ed because it is so much more than that. Mine, explore, craft, fight, discover, throw a door into some lava, etc. Fly, grapple and survive in this brutal 2D world, which is also an awesome single player game, which means that you can continue enjoying the fun even when no one else is looking. It is a challenging game that can keep you occupied for hours on end. The game even has different difficulty settings for different levels of gamers, although there is no real setting for easy, so don't make your 5-year-old cousin cry with this game. For a more in-depth look at the game, you can watch my video about what the fun Terraria is.
Hey cousin, you're a professional skateboarder, right? Why don't we try and kickflip into some nostalgia?
Long ago, there used to be these games about a guy named Tony that managed to keep my brothers and I entertained weekend after weekend. This Tony guy rode on a skateboard, and the game was called Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Although not entirely grounded in realism, this game was amazing at letting you feel cool. Being able to do things no one will ever be able to do in real life was the coolest thing back in the day. Ask your parents. Years later, the world decided to throw us a bone amid all the other bad things that were happening, and gave us a remaster of the first 2 Tony Hawk's Pro Skater games, packed into one bundle. Now that's value if I've ever seen it. Challenge a friend and try to see who can be the illest there has ever been through loads of beautifully remastered levels in this fun-packed game.
What's that, cousin? You're afraid of hawks? Dude, you've got some issues, man. We gotta get that checked out. How about we try some old school classics instead?
Sometimes we don't need an intricate game. Sometimes we just have to kick back with some timeless classics. Hopefully, I don't sound like an IGN review for saying this, but Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics actually has something for everyone. Checkers, 4 in a row, dominoes, chess, backgammon, blackjack, battle tanks, fishing, air hockey, darts, and piano. No matter who you are, there is sure to be something to catch your attention for at least a few minutes. These classic games can be fun to play on your own, but they are best enjoyed in the company of others. Depending on the title you play, you can have fun with up to 4 players and have some fun with games anyone could easily learn to understand. Except for chess. That game is reserved for hardcore speedrunners. It's fun for the whole family, and even Scott seems to like it. You won't go wrong suggesting this for a fun family game night. Unless you have like 12 children, in which case, you need some help. I could end this video right here since there are now technically more than 51 games on this list. But I'm not that kind of guy.
So happy? Damn cousin, you don't have to bite my head off. You could have just said that you'll play it later. How about we try flipping a house instead?
Just like Overcooked, Tools Up can offer tons of chaotic multiplayer fun that can be enjoyed by up to 4 players at a time. The game is quite simple, but still a fun experience. Played alone, the game leaves something to be desired, but add friends and start causing some multiplayer havoc. In the game, you need to renovate different homes, tear out the carpets, clean out the trash, slap some paint on the walls, and make those homes look as good as new. In some levels, you will need to share certain tools in order to complete different tasks, causing you to have to run back and forth to get different items, all while having to try and avoid making an even bigger mess of the situation. You can work alone or work together in order to complete the task at hand. Kick over the paint bucket and you'll slip, or you'll trample paint everywhere, causing you to have to redo sections you're already done with. As the levels progress, you get more and more tasks to complete, pumping up the difficulty and causing you to shout at each other. Get into some renovating party fun with family and friends by adding this title to your gaming toolbox.
What's that, cousin? Oh sure, we can play
Lovers in a Dangerous Space Time, an epic space adventure that's best enjoyed when played with others. Team up with up to 3 extra players and go on a space adventure in order to save love bunnies across a bunch of randomly generated levels after the love machine has malfunctioned. In the game, you need to direct a ship through a level, all while manning the weapons, shields, and thrusters. When playing alone, there's a pet companion that helps you with tasks, but in multiplayer mode, you will need to work together and communicate in order for everyone to know what to do, as things can get quite hectic at times. You need to difficultly move through the levels while defending yourself and picking up love bunnies to unlock the heart needed to progress to the next level. You can upgrade your ship by adding new features to control, and with the levels being randomly generated, the game offers a lot of replayability. If you're a single player, then the experience might not be all there. But as a group, this is galaxies of fun.
What's that, cousin? You want some classic 2D player fun? Well, no one does that better than Sega. Used to. Except all those other companies. But this is a really good way to replay the heydays from Sega's classics, while forgetting how far we've fallen.
Sonic, Streets of Rage, Sonic 2, Golden Axe, Streets of Rage 2, Streets of Rage 3, and others. Sounds cool, hey? With the Sega Genesis Classics or the Sega Mega Drive Classics, depending on where you live. We have another collection with more than 50 classic games to dig into alone, or 17 of them to share with another player. This alone brings the total number of multiplayer games on this list up to at least 7 games? Wow! It is sad that the collection is missing Sonic 3 on the console, but there are still a bunch of the best awesome old school classics by Sega, such as Toe Jam and Earl, Gunstar Heroes, and the other 2 Golden Axe games, making this an awesome compilation of classics to add to your Nintendo Switch collection and enjoy with a friend.
Whoa, cousin, that was some awesome Golden Axing, man. How about we just chill out for a while?
One of my favorite games on the PlayStation 3 was Pixel Junk Eden. You play as a little Grimp that needs to swing around, collect pollen, and grow new flowers until you can reach the Spectra. It was challenging enough, while still being very relaxing with its art style, music, and fun gameplay. When I saw that there was a second Eden game, I naturally jumped on it as soon as it went on special. What I found was another charming experience to chill out to, alone or with another player. The controls felt slightly different to what I remembered from the previous game, but I managed to get back into the flow of things quite quickly. The new game now offers different Grimps with different abilities that sometimes makes them play very differently or give you a better chance of accomplishing something in a run. There are new gardens to explore and new music to chill out to. If you're looking for a fun but relaxing multiplayer experience, then Pixel Junk Eden is well worth a try.
I can't put the tip of my arm on it, but something's not quite right here.
Stick Fight the Game is a physics-based action fighting game that can be played by up to 4 players. Yay! Just take note that if you don't have a friend or a cousin, you'll need to play the game with other people online, as the game doesn't have a single player mode. Ew. The game offers some fun frantic combat mechanics, including an array of weapons that can sometimes even be counterintuitive if you use them the wrong way, such as guns launching you off platforms or out of bounds. There are 100 unique stages, each with their own dangers and challenges, such as falling platforms and lasers. Rounds are usually over quickly, meaning that players who get killed won't be out of the action for too long. You cycle through levels quite quickly, meaning you might see a level multiple times during a play session. But due to the quick fun gameplay and randomness in some levels, they don't feel stale. If you're looking for a fun, chaotic, action-packed game to play with some friends, this game is definitely worth a try.
What? You wanna play FIFA? Dude, the World Cup is already over. Spoiler alert, Messi won. Dude, instead of playing the same FIFA every year, why don't we try this game instead?
Tired of playing the same old FIFA year after year? Well, then try to switch things up with Captain Tsubasa, Rise of the New Champions. Based on the Captain Tsubasa anime, this game offers action-packed moments like FIFA can't, because some of the moves you can do is illegal. It has its own heart and eyeballs and stands out by offering an action-packed, high-intense arcade-style experience as opposed to your run-of-the-mill soccer simulator. The game offers a nice single-player story mode, but helps you master the game while getting you familiarized with the game's world. You even have the ability to create custom characters, with a catch that you will have to level up your character through playing another special single-player campaign, revolving around your custom character. The results of the matches in this mode will determine your character's final stats. You can create a bunch of custom characters, so as your skills grow, you can make a better character. But single player games are not why we're here. Captain Tsubasa Rise of the New Champions offers one of the most fun soccer related 2-player experiences that I've ever had, and I played it with my son. Discovering the tricks and gimmicks of the game together was a bunch of fun. At first, he complained that the game was too difficult, but once we got the hang of things, we had a blast chasing each other down and trying to score some goals. There is even a mode featuring power-up items, allowing you to shoot lasers and stuff, and it has no out of bounds, allowing for even more frenzied fun. The game can be challenging, but it's a blast to jam out together with up to 4 players on one system. Just beware that the game's online is not the best, and should probably be avoided if you can.
Wow, cousin, all that playing not FIFA has made me quite hungry. How about we try and go find some cake?
Portal is a first-person portal shooting puzzle game with an awesome storyline, fun gameplay, and unique humor. It started off with an independent creator creating a mod for Half-Life, before it got picked up by Valve and released as part of the Orange Box. More than a decade later, the franchise is still revered as one of the best, which is probably why we don't have a Portal 3 yet. The only explanation is that we can no longer create games that can stand next to the original games, so we're too afraid to try. The original Portal game only has a single player campaign, and while being short, it is still just enough fun to make it memorable. The second Portal game, which is cleverly titled Portal 2, also has an amazing single player campaign, but it has this little mode located underneath a single player campaign, where you can go on a unique journey that is separate from the main story, and you can bring a friend along. In Portal 2's multiplayer campaign, you and a friend take the form of 2 robots that need to work together in order to solve some fun head-scratching puzzles, while using the science of portals. Like in the single player mode, your character gets equipped with a portal gun that shoots 2 different colored portals that allow you to move between them, in order to solve puzzles and navigate the game's world. The world and the story created for the multiplayer mode is just as intricate and fun as the single player campaign, and you can see the love that went into them. In order to get this title, you will need to pick up the Portal Companion Collection, which contains the 2 Portal games. The collection is not too expensive, and well worth the price if you consider what you're getting yourself into.
What? The cake was a lie? Oh, come on, now I'm starving. Yeah, that's a good idea. I shouldn't starve alone. We should starve together.
I love Don't Starve and always hope to be able to share the experience with a friend. When they released Don't Starve Together on the Nintendo Switch, I knew I had to jump on that as soon as possible. Don't Starve Together offers the same challenging survival gameplay as the first game, but now you can die with a friend instead of dying alone. Like most other survival games, you need to collect resources in order to craft new items to defend yourself from almost everything. More importantly, you need to find food to keep you from starving and do things to prevent yourself from going insane. It never feels like there's a dull moment or a minute to just relax and feel safe, as there are dangers around every corner. When you die, you will need to either find a way to revive yourself, or you will permanently lose your world and progress. The game requires you to take risks in order to get lucky sometimes, and other times, you die. In Don't Starve Together, you always feel challenged. No matter how many resources you collect, the game always finds a way to f*** you hard. But that's part of the fun. You need to take what you learned from dying and try to improve in your next run. The game has an amazing art style, with a wide range of interesting characters that each have their own unique abilities, my favorite being the upgradable robot. The game can be unforgiving at times, but luckily, you can create a custom world where you can tune the items and threats to your desire, in case you want to get a new or younger player into the flow of things in the game. Overcoming the difficult challenges the game throws at you feels extremely rewarding. If you're looking for a challenge, this game is not to be missed.
What? It's not your cup of tea? Well then cowabunga, bitch!
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You've got the Cowabunga collection containing the old games, as well as Shredder's Revenge, which is a whole new game in the art style of the old ones. Which one should you pick? Well, I don't give a f***. Both of them are awesome. With one, you get more games, but with the other, you get a new Turtles experience, which is one of the most polished ones since the games from the Cowabunga collection. Take control of Raphael, Donatello, Michael, and Leonardo DiCaprio, and even some other characters alone or as up to 4 players in certain entries in these action-packed beat-em-up games. There are some titles in the Cowabunga collection that don't support multiplayer, but the ones that matter the most do. Play through some awesome action-packed stages, facing off against tons of henchmen and some very formidable bosses. These titles can be quite challenging at times, but since you're here, you're probably a gamer, and gamers never give up, so get good.
Ho 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 ho! Guess who I was pretending to be, cousin? That's right, Chris Pratt.
It's time to go ape with Donkey Kong and the gang in Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze Deluxe. They've got Big Boss Donkey, ready to tear shit up. They've got Small Donkey with his barrel jetpack and peanut pistol. They've got Gold Donkey, who's also a helicopter. They've got Old Donkey, who owns a stick. And they've even got Funky Donkey with his surfboard for reviewers and kids. This might be a port of a Wii U game, but let's get serious. None of the Wii U games were enjoyed by as many people as they should have been. Apart from getting you laid, Donkey Kong games also suffer from being one of the best 2D platformers out there. It can be enjoyed alone, like a sad person, or with another person, also like a sad person. There are a lot of sad people out there, but at least you won't have to feel sad while playing the slick platformer with awesome feeling controls that makes you feel in control of your own failures. The game has amazing level design that takes you from beautiful scene to a water level and back to beautiful scenes, and it just makes you want to explore more and more of the stunning world. And then you get this game's music. This game's soundtrack is life-changing, like a Celine Dion concert. The Donkey Kong Country series is known for having some very challenging sections at times, and Tropical Freeze is no different. But we're gamers and learn to deal with that shit. Unfortunately, the difficulty might deter casual gamers who work for gaming review websites, which makes Donkey Kong less popular than it should be. We should change that because Donkey Kong is awesome. If you like to have fun while also having a challenge, then you're in for a treat with this game. If you don't like hard challenges, then just use the Doobie Brother for a more forgiving experience. Whichever way you barrel roll, banana good. Next on the list is Super Mario Bros. U.
Whoa, okay. Dude, just hear me out, dude. Just one second, hear me out, man.
I know that it is a port from the Wii U era. I know not much has changed regarding the gameplay since the Nintendo Wii without a U era when it comes to new Super Mario Bros. I know that Nintendo is too lazy or out of ideas for another Super Mario Bros. Game. And I know Luigi is cooler than Mario. But it is the best side-scrolling multiplayer Mario game on the Nintendo Switch at the moment and can be enjoyed by the whole family, unless you're Mormon, in which case the game is twice as fun. It contains everything we love about 2D side-scrolling Mario, all dressed up in a beautiful 3D style. All the Goombas, all the power-ups, all the blocks, and all the joy. Because you also get the harder, faster, and sexier new Super Luigi U bundled in with this game, and that alone is worth it all. The games feature different playable characters, each with their own tricks and abilities, and up to 4 players can cause chaos at a time. If you love side-scrolling Mario games and might have missed out on the Wii U, this is definitely worth a pickup, especially for those multiplayer sessions.
Remember that time you went to jail and you kept trying to escape? Well, now we can relive it together, cousin.
You're in jail and you have one main objective: escape. Us 2. The fun part comes that you have many different ways to achieve this, although it could take quite some time depending on your escape plan. Sneak out, dig a hole, search for a blind spot in security, or just try what works for you, as long as you don't drop the soap. In jail, there is strict security and a strict schedule that needs to be followed. You need to find a way to use the time you have between these activities in order to plan your escape. You can collect items, craft new items, start a fight, develop your skills, work a job, and even complete tasks for different inmates to gain money and favor. There's quite a lot that can be done outside of escaping, but ultimately, it will be the main goal you and a second player will be aiming for.
Hey cousin, remember the time that Goose stole you and we couldn't find you for a month? Freaking hilarious, man. Well, now we can relive that experience in 2-player mode.
Do you like causing chaos? Do you have a friend? And do the two of you want to be geese? If you answered yes, or maybe, to any of those 4 questions, then Untitled Goose Game is worth a try. Steal a farmer's rake, scare a kid into a phone booth, cause havoc and bring life back into a beautiful dull little town as a goose. Complete a list of tasks or just run around and get into trouble in this honk of a fun game. The game was awesome as a single player experience, and if you don't believe me, just go ask any random stranger on the street. But now, you can honk even more and push things even further with a second player flying into your sadistic lifestyle. Untitled Goose Game is definitely not one to be missed out on. Honk honk.
Speaking about geese, since Charles became king, it feels like anyone can. Why don't we give it a try?
I originally picked up Kingdom New Lands on sale and really got addicted to the game. It ended up being one of the most played games on my Nintendo Switch, and I've always wanted to be able to share the experience with someone. The game is visually gorgeous and the music plays really well into the game, not feeling repetitive. The game is very simple, using only 2 directional buttons and 1 action button. You travel left or right on an island and need to collect and spend coins in order to get your followers to do certain tasks. You've got builders who can expand or repair your borders and structures, as well as collect certain resources. Farmers who do as they are named, and warriors who hunt and defend your borders. There are greedy little creatures that appear from a portal each night and try to steal your gold and ultimately your crown. At first, the greedy creatures are weak and few in number, but they grow in numbers and strength each night. On each island, there's a broken boat that needs to be repaired in order to escape the land and go to the next. When Kingdom 2 Crowns was announced, I got super excited to pick it up on sale. The game adds a lot of new features and rights to the game, as well as a 2-player co-op mode, which makes the experience so much more enjoyable. The game can be very challenging at times, but sailing away from an island at the end feels really rewarding. Just be careful not to get too addicted to the gameplay loop.
Hey cousin, look, a leprechaun!
I don't know why, but for the longest time I avoided playing a Pikmin game. It always looked like a fun experience, but the idea of having to deal with so many different little creatures seemed a bit daunting. In April 2022, I finally got Pikmin Deluxe on the Nintendo Switch, and then I spent another 6 months not touching it. One fateful day, I was overboard and decided to just try it out. Needless to say, here I am recommending this game to other people. In Pikmin 3 Deluxe, you play as astronauts from the planet Koopa, which suffers from famine. You get stranded on a giant planet while in search for food to take back to your home planet. You quickly discover these tiny little creatures called Pikmin that seem to obey all your commands. Cool! There are different types of Pikmin, each with their own unique ability, such as red Pikmin being immune to fire, blue Pikmin being immune to water, and yellow Pikmin that can conduct electricity. Using a combination of up to 100 Pikmin, you need to command them in order to get past all the dangers and challenges that lie ahead in this oversized world. You also need to continually spend Pikmin to carry resources back to your ship, leaving you with less and less Pikmin to help. The storyline takes place over several days and offers a bunch of unique areas that you can explore. Every night you need to escape the planet's surface with your Pikmin friends in order to survive from the creatures that lurk on the planet's surface. Any Pikmin left behind gets lost in the onslaught. You can work together with a partner to get through the main storyline, splitting up tasks to gather more resources or reach new places. The game was a lot less intimidating than it seemed at first once I got into the flow of things, and turned out to be a very charming experience. There are even additional modes that offer even more multiplayer fun, and features the fan favorite Captain Olimar, but I haven't even really dived into the extra modes yet. But based on what I've experienced from the story mode so far, the game is already becoming one of my favorites and makes me excited to see what Pikmin 4 will bring to the table.
Hey cousin, you're European, right? How about we try some Bud Spencer and Terence Hill?
In my teenage years, I got heavy into Bud Spencer and Terence Hill films. They were by no means the best movies out there, but they were fun. Whenever I was feeling down or in a bad mood, these two actors would always be able to cheer me up with some slaps and head bonks. When I saw their faces appear in the Nintendo eShop, I had an uncontrollable excitement. I was uncontrollably excited. Bud Spencer and Terence Hill slaps into action in the awesome beat-em-up Slaps and Beans. You can play alone, swapping between the two characters, or you can team up with a second player and become Bud Spencer and Terence Hill.
I don't think you understand how big of a deal this is. Shut up, Mike! Shut the f*** up! Shut up! You always do this! This is why no one wants to hang out with us!
Through the game, you play an original light-hearted story that feels exactly like the plot of a Bud Spencer and Terence Hill movie. The game is set through many different levels, resembling iconic sets from a wide range of their films, adding even more enjoyment to the game if you are familiar with the two actors' work. There is even a jukebox where you can listen to some iconic songs from their movies. The only thing that was a bit disappointing is that there is no voice acting in the game, but it doesn't make the game or plot not enjoyable. Don't worry if you're not familiar with the work of these two actors, as there are still lots of slaps, lots of beans, lots of head bonks, and lots of fun to be had with this game. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is one of the best multiplayer experiences on the Nintendo Switch, and now there's even more to love with newly added DLC tracks that are releasing in waves.
I know that this game was on my previous best comp list, but it's still the best.
You can play locally in split screen with up to 4 players, or online with up to 8 in this fun-packed racing game. There are different speeds for different skilled players, giving everyone the opportunity to be able to enjoy it. Whip this game out at a party and you're guaranteed to get laid.
Fine, I'll give you an alternative 20th game. Tetris 99. There you go. Happy?
Tetris 99. It's f***ing Tetris, but it's awesome, with more modes and more fun to be had than the original. There's also a 2-player mode if you own the game physically or bought the DLC. Enjoy it.
If none of these games tickles you the right way, then how about we try some of these games suggested by the community? I haven't tried them yet, but they do seem promising.
Pico Park, a cute but fun puzzle game that will test the friendship of 2 to 8 players. Cadence of Hyrule, Crypt of the Necrodancer is an action rhythm indie game that managed to get the license to use Zelda and Link along with other creatures from Hyrule. It seems like a fun game with some unique mechanics, and I look forward to diving into it along with another player. Sonic Mania is a game made by fans of the franchise, using old school Sonic assets and gameplay. Instead of Sega telling them that they need to delete their Mario game, they got hired and the game became something awesome that offers a 2-player experience. Unravel 2 is a puzzle platformer where you play as a yarn boy, and you need to work together with another yarn boy to solve puzzles and traverse the world. It Takes Two is a game designed around being a 2-player game, so if you have no friends, I hope that you find one soon, so that you can also enjoy this awesome looking experience with another player. And then there's Dragon Ball FighterZ, which was recommended by my son and has been a very fun experience as a 2-player game.
That looks good. So have you decided what you want to... Cousin? Cousin? Cousin!